15 psychological statistics that will astound you. The study of the mind and behavior is a focus of psychology. There have been and will continue to be studies done to try to understand why we are the way we are. Even if we are learning more and more every day, there is still a lot we don't understand. More exciting than others are certain study results. Did you aware that using punctuation in text messages makes you seem fake? Put on your seatbelt. You may expect a crazy psychological ride. Some of the things you notice in yourself or others may be explained or confirmed by the psychology facts that follow. Number 1, having a backup plan makes plan a less likely to succeed. Researchers at the University of Pennsylvania examined volunteers' performance on a particular activity and discovered that those who considered a backup plan performed worse than those who did not. Additionally, they discovered that participants' motivation diminished when they became aware of their other options. Expectancy theory, which Victor H. Virum created in 1964, is connected to this. According to expectation theory, whether you expect to succeed at something affects your drive for it. A backup strategy assumes that you won't be successful the first time. Researchers caution against becoming too mired in the specifics, but stress the need of planning ahead. You can unintentionally be hindering your progress. Number 2, catching a yawn could help us connect in position 2. You've only just started your workday and are eager to accomplish a lot. During your morning meeting, you are seated at your desk when the person next to you yawns loudly, and annoyingly. You soon find yourself yawning for no apparent reason. You're not even weary, though. That's a yawn in response. There are several hypotheses as to why yawning is contagious. One of the most popular ones is that yawning in response shows empathy. This explains why young kids who haven't yet mastered empathy or those with autism spectrum disorders are less likely to respond by yawning. Number 3, we care more about a single person than major tragedies. In a different University of Pennsylvania study, researchers looked at people's behavior in relation to charitable giving in response to various stimuli. One group saw a young girl who was famished. Millions of people die from hunger every year, according to a figure given to the second group, while both were taught to the third. The least amount of money was provided by those who only learned about the statistic, then by those who learned about both. People who learned about the little child gave twice as much as the statistic group. According to psychologists, this is because when an issue feels too enormous, we feel powerless and unimportant and believe that our efforts would be in vain. In this situation, it appears more feasible to save one malnourished girl than to eradicate world hunger. Number 4, it's easier to recall beginnings and ends than middles. Have you ever forgotten your grocery list while out shopping? You can see it and retain information that is at the beginning and end when trying to remember stuff without it. However, the middle parts are a little hazy. This was confirmed by research published in Frontiers of Human Neuroscience. The serial position effect is what it is known as. This explains why you might recall your manager's presentation's conclusion but not its middle. Therefore, you might not actually have ADHD, and it really is a problem. Number 5, it takes 5 positive things to balance out one negative one. You may have heard that it's a good idea to express your gratitude at the beginning and end of each day. As a result of our so-called negativity bias, which causes us to concentrate on the negative rather than the positive, this keeps us in a balanced state. It serves no purpose to dwell on your problems or the things that make you unhappy. Aim for a life where there are 5 positives and 1 negative. You might be able to create something amazing. Number 6, food tastes better when it is prepared by someone else. Ever ponder why your mother's cooking always tastes better? In reality, if the cook is good, food always tastes better when it is prepared by someone else. The reason behind this, according to researchers, is that when you prepare a meal for yourself, by the time you're ready to eat, it's been so long that it's become less interesting, which makes you enjoy it less. Number 7, rather than not knowing what to anticipate, we'd rather to know that something bad is coming. Have you ever experienced a sinking feeling in your stomach when you hear, "We need to talk"? Your imagination immediately starts to race with all the possible horrible things it may be. If it's a romantic partner, you'd probably prefer it if they ended their relationship with you right away. If it's your boss, you'd want to be fired right away. Researchers have discovered that we prefer clarity over uncertainty when something awful is going to happen. This is due to the fact that when we are uncertain of what will happen, our brains work overtime to attempt and forecast all possible outcomes, both positive and negative. Number 8, we want to break more rules when one is too strict. People sometimes transgress more laws when they believe that some freedoms are being restricted in an effort to reclaim the freedoms that they believe have been taken away, which is a psychological phenomenon known as reactance. The best examples of this come from teenagers. In addition to the possibility of sneaking away when grounded, people might also turn to other risky actions as a sort of reaction. There's a reason we want to squeeze cute things is number 9. Puppies and infants, don't you simply want to adore, hug, and cuddle with them? That's a natural response, and it's called cute aggression, it seems. The theory behind cute aggression is that when we are overcome with positive feelings, such as those elicited by an adorable puppy or baby, a tad bit of aggression balances out those overwhelming feelings so that we don't harm innocent little beings, according to an article in the Frontiers in Behavioral Neuroscience. Number 10, we unintentionally believe what we want to believe. The tendency to interpret facts in a way that supports our pre-existing beliefs is known as confirmation bias. This explains why followers of particular political ideologies favor particular news sources over others. Never mind attempting to influence Uncle Fred's opinion on foreign relations. Confirmation bias not only makes us look for evidence that supports our preconceived notions, but it also makes us ignore information that is incongruent with our beliefs. Number 11, you are predisposed to love music you listened to in high school. Dopamine and other feel-good chemicals are released as a result of listening to good music. Every adolescent at a party has ever said, "This is my jam." Those were the high school days. Or rather, between the ages of 12 and 22, when everything seems to have a greater significance. Music is present. According to studies, despite the passage of time, we remain more emotionally connected to the music we grew up listening to than we ever will as adults. Number 12, memories are less like accurate snapshots than pieced-together pictures. False memories are things you recollect in your mind that aren't entirely or even mostly true. An illustration would be thinking you started the dishes before leaving for work, but you didn't. This is due to the fact that when merely remembering the broad strokes of what occurred, our brains occasionally fill in the spaces incorrectly. Number 13, we search for human faces even in inanimate objects. Pareidolia is the propensity to identify particular, frequently significant pictures, such as faces, in random or illegible visual patterns. The guy in the moon is a well-known illustration. According to some experts, this is because, as social animals, recognizing faces is so crucial that we'd rather make one where one doesn't already exist than fail to notice one that does. Number 14, when we have high expectations, people rise. When we have low expectations, people fall. High expectations boost performance, according to the psychological phenomenon known as the Pygmalion effect. In a well-known study from the 1960s, researchers informed teachers that certain random pupils had great potential based on their IQ test results. They discovered that, at least in part as a result of their professors' higher expectations, those kids who were rated as having high potential actually ended up becoming high achievers. Number 15, our brain doesn't think long-term deadlines are so important. Reason: yes, you could begin that significant project for work or school right now, but you still have a few months to go. Before you know it, those months have passed, and you're rushing to do tasks that should have taken months in only a few days. Unimportant things that are urgent are more enticing. They provide you immediate satisfaction because they take less time and are simpler to do. Short-term deadlines, like those defined in days, are easier for our brains to process than long-term ones, like those measured in months or years. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and tell your friends about it so we can make more like it. Click the subscribe button to see more content like this, and don't forget to activate the notification bell. Watch our other videos as well if you haven't already. Thank you for viewing.